We're very, we're very, our culture is a kind of a culture of like gratitude and humility. So we, rather than, being a culture of, what have you done for me lately or expectation, we focus on, hey, these are the great things everybody's doing for us. We appreciate our clients, we appreciate each other. And, we do a lot of like monetary benefits and, we make sure we're paying everybody well and all of that. But you can do that, you can pay people, but if there isn't that appreciation that they're feeling and that feeling of fulfillment, it only goes so far, for sure.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today we talk about how great cultures attract talent. When you think about your own culture, is it attracting the talent that you need? Is it really creating a draw for the right person? Maybe it's the right salespeople or the right C-level executives that are coming in to help you really grow the business. Well, culture is so important. I had a client of mine the other day that said culture is everything. And so I believe that, and I believe that leadership drives the right culture. So that's one reason why this is a big part of our conversation here on Grow Think Tank. So appreciate you being here. Our special guest today is Erik Woodbury. He's with Woodbury Strategy. They are a tax prep and tax planning organization. So if you're really looking for proactive approach to your taxes, you can check out Woodbury. But what we really talk about is how great cultures attract talented people. And so when you think about your own culture, first you have to look at what gets in the way of culture. What are the things? Maybe it's people. There's toxic people around you. Maybe there's other elements, but you also want to make sure that you are clear about your values and the vision of the business, and you're inviting the right people that are a culture fit. All of that is discussed in today's episode with Erik. My name is Gene Hammett. I am an executive coach. We do leadership development, and really what we do is help companies stay aligned with their executive teams and their leaders to help them keep scaling their businesses. Because what got you here may not get you there. And so if you really want to keep scaling and you really want to evolve your culture, your leadership, then you want to make sure you keep tuning in to not just the podcast, but we offer something really special. If you are an executive of a fast growth company, you don't have to be on the Inc. 5000, but you have to be in the fast growth range. You can go to coreelevation.com/virtual conversations, and you can sign up for a free conversation. The one that's next coming out. I'm not sure when you'll actually listen to this, but in February, we're going to have how to lead Gen Z. And so if that sparks your interest, you can come in with other CEOs that are going to talk about this subject, talk about what gets in the way, how to actually do this effectively, and really just have a great conversation with other CEOs. And that's what the virtual conversations is. Sign up at coreelevation.com/virtual conversations. Now here's the interview with Erik. Erik, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Gene?
I am fantastic. We're going to have a great conversation about great cultures and how do you get there as a leader of a fast growth company. Erik, tell me about Woodbury Strategy.
Yeah, so we are a tax firm. We focus only on taxes for business owners and their businesses. So we do a lot of tax preparation, but we focus on tax planning, tax strategy for our clients. And so kind of, we revamped quite a bit. We started out as just kind of a tax preparation firm where we only did tax preparation. And that was a little hard because you kind of get overwhelmed with clients because you're kind of low price, and, high quantity of clients. And you get overwhelmed with service delivery. You aren't able to provide as much value for those clients. So we shifted our approach a few years back to more of a value-based approach where we focus on, hey, can we help save you money in taxes? If we cannot, then, it's not a great fit, and that's okay. But we will do a free diagnosis, talk with potential clients about their specific tax situation, what they're experiencing and everything like that. we have a proprietary model that we run everything through, and we can tell them, hey, we can save you X amount in taxes. This is our price. Are you making money working with us? If the answer is yes, then it makes sense. If it's no, then it doesn't make sense. So it becomes pretty simple at that point. And, the biggest thing is we'll actually help kind of guide and implement these strategies throughout the year. We'll meet with our clients throughout the year. It's one of the biggest complaints we hear is that our clients don't get the attention they need throughout the year. They only talk to their CPA once a year, and by then it's too late to really implement anything, and feel like they're just overpaying in taxes every single year, year in and year out. And so, there's a very good it's a underserved area of the market we work in, and so that's a little bit about us. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more as we go on.
I will tell you, I've made that leap in my business. I've gone beyond just regular tax preparation to tax strategy. Full transparency, I have some complexity with this. We have a portfolio of real estate properties that's, I think, 25 doors now.
Oh, wow.
We have some multifamily, and we have some dual duplexes and all that stuff, and and we have a fiveplex. So it's a little bit of a beast, and it's certainly beyond my ability to do it. And the words I use, because I've worked with other, as an executive coach, I've worked with other accounting firms before. But proactive strategy. Do you guys think about what you're doing now is moving into a little bit more proactive advice for your clients?
Absolutely. Yeah. And so what we want to do, like, we'll look at a client and we'll look at their situation on a quarterly basis, and we can tell them right there, hey, this is what you're going to pay in taxes. So, if it's, June of the year, and, we can tell them what they're going to pay next April, which is super helpful, because then they know, okay, do I want to try and implement additional strategies? Am I okay with that amount? Have I put enough into place? Usually the answer is no, right? It's like, no, let's reduce that. And so you have time to, like you said, go buy some real estate, or, implement different types of trusts or different things, or retirement, or, or whatnot, or pay yourself differently. If you're having that conversation right now for the year 2023, then, you can't go back in time and buy a real estate property, right? So,
yep.
It's super helpful to be proactive. It costs you a lot to not be proactive when it comes to taxes, right?
Well, Erik, I appreciate you being on the podcast today. We're going to not talk about taxes. We're going to talk about a great culture. How do you define a great culture for your company?
Yeah, that's interesting. I would say, so for us in our industry, the accounting and tax industry, historically, and when I worked in corporate America, you don't typically have a great culture with those types of companies. It's, because typically those managers, those leaders are numbers people. They're not people, right? They're good at numbers. They're good at, taxes, or, financials or whatnot, but they've never been trained to be good with people and to manage people and to create a good culture. It's just kind of, hey, you work this many hours. How much can I squeeze from this individual? Which is not a great way to look at it long term, right? And so for us, what we tend to say is that we're kind of a sanctuary for accounting professionals from like toxic corporate environments, right? Is kind of what we look at it. So we do things differently than your typical accounting firms, but I'd say that's how we define it, as being that sanctuary for these professionals.
So, given that's the case, Erik, what is it about Woodbury Strategy that attracts these other talented people? Because they could go other places, they could maybe even start some things on their own, which I know is not for everyone. But what do you think attracts them to you?
Yeah, that's a great point. There are a lot of options for sure. And especially in that industry, they can go to bigger firms, smaller firms, do their own thing or whatnot. However, for us, the first thing that is attractive is that we're a remote company. We're 100% remote. And so that alone tends to be a benefit from these professionals. They like that flexibility. A lot of accounting firms, went remote during the pandemic, and then now they're just saying, "Hey, everybody's coming back in. This did not work. Like we're not getting the productivity that we like." And they're kind of backpedaling and making everybody go back into the office, which can be okay, and I understand that it is very difficult to create a good culture with a remote team, and so that is definitely a challenge. But it is something that attracts good talent because they don't want to have to commute, deal with that. They like the flexibility and all of that, and so that's something that attracts them first off. The second thing is we we're very our culture is a kind of a culture of like gratitude and humility. So we, rather than being a culture of what have you done for me lately, or expectation, we focus on, hey, these are the great things everybody's doing for us. We appreciate our clients, we appreciate each other, and we do a lot of like monetary benefits, and we make sure we're paying everybody well and all of that. But you can do that, you can pay people, but if there isn't that appreciation that they're feeling and that feeling of fulfillment, it only goes so far, for sure.
I've seen that too with our clients, and a lot of people think that others are motivated by money, and some people truly are. Like I know some sales reps are just driven by money, and maybe we want them to be in some cases, but a lot of our organizations are looking for the right place to grow, the right balance of lifestyle. Is that part of the plan there for your company?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing we just implemented, we call them our CAD meetings, where each of our employees got together with their manager, and CAD stands for crazy audacious dream. So we want to know what dreams our people have, for at the peak of your career, or when you're in the best state in your life, like what does that look like for you? And like, tell us what that is, tell us that story, and then let's come up with a plan to get you there. And if that plan means maybe you're not working here, that's okay. Maybe they want to start their own business one day, or maybe they want to do something completely different. They decided accounting's not right for them, and this is just kind of a stepping stone. That's okay. We can get some great value from them for a few years. They can get some great value from us for a few years. They can do what they really want to do. But to eliminate that awkward relationship between employee and employer of, oh, I can't tell them what I really want to do in life, I have to keep that a secret, and then just pretend like this is my dream job. And for some people it is, like some people, they want to grow in the organization, they want to become a manager and a partner and all of that, and that's awesome. That's of course what we love too. We love to keep people, for sure. But during those meetings, we've had some people say, this is what I've always wanted to do, and this is my 10-year plan. And it's like, okay, well, then we create an 18-month plan. Like, what projects can we put you on? What clients do you want to work with? What people do you want to work with to help you get to that plan? What education do you need, where it's going to help us and our company, but it's also going to help you? And so we found some really cool things doing those meetings, and it's even amplified our culture even further by doing that. It's been cool.
We've been talking about the employee's dream. Now, I want to add this in for a moment here, because I really think this is a brilliant, underused strategy that was discussed by Erik, but I want to take it a little bit deeper. You sitting down with someone and saying, what is your crazy dream? Who do you really want to be? Who do you want to be a hero to? Whatever you want to do to be able to pull this out of them. The idea would be to tune into how they want to grow and be able to put together a plan, because they will show up more engaged, more committed, and really take a higher level of ownership to the work they have if they are working on the dream that they want in their life. And it could be something 10 years out, but you tune into it, you care, and you put together a plan. Now, some dreams may not be professional related. I get it. But maybe you create space for them to have that. And then they appreciate the job that they do because you've created this flexibility and space to be able to do their dream, and others might not do it as well as you do because you understand. The point is, take time to ask people that work for you, what is your dream? And then do what you can to help them achieve that. They will look at you differently. The relationship will be different, and you will be a part of that growth. And they will really appreciate that long term. And I think loyalty is bred from this one strategy. Back to Erik. What was the spark for this CAD idea? Did you get it from somewhere and make it up yourself?
Yeah. Excuse me. I read a lot of books, always reading books, listening to podcasts and things like that. One book that I read was called Radical Candor, which is a really good book in general. And there was just a little section where it talked about kind of these types of meetings, and talked about, it definitely wasn't the focus of the book, but that's probably one of the biggest things I got out of it, which was really cool. And so we just kind of ran with that and decided we'd test it out.
Well, I'm glad you had good feedback. And I do feel like tuning into the dreams of others lets them know that you care about them, but also if you can give them some of that, maybe not all of it, because some people may want to be a professional guitarist or professional jujitsu martial arts person. But there are some people that are like, I want to be on partner track. And you're like, okay, great. You're able to create a little bit more of attraction for them because you're giving them a unique experience based on their journey. So that's what I take from that. Erik, I know not everyone is probably a fit for your company, and I don't need names, but if you ever had to deal with toxicity or toxic employees that have come in and kind of done some harm to the culture and you had to like stop it?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's probably, the worst part of my job for sure is when something like that does happen. And we've had that happen for sure. And especially in a remote environment where you can't micromanage everything that everybody's doing. And so there's a lot of trust that has to be there. And, we have to trust each other. And, of course we have metrics and ways of tracking results. And that gives us a really good indication of what people are doing. But we did have a couple incidences recently where we had people come in and everybody, was working hard and getting a lot of stuff done. We have, one or two people who just, their results are not there. And it does hurt the culture because everybody else who's working hard, they're on task, they're self-motivated, they wake up in the morning and they say, hey, this is what I got to do today. And they get it done, and then you have these others that are just, not doing what everyone else is doing. So the people, the high performers are feeling like, well, why am I busting my butt, when these people are slacking, and we know they're slacking, and I know, they are too. And so you have to make those tough decisions, and, you try and coach people and help them out. But one thing I have discovered is, we can teach people skills all day long. We can teach them the tax code and whatever, but values are harder to teach. It's not like we can't teach somebody values, but it just takes a really long time. And so we don't always have the time to do that, especially when you're a fast growing company. And so we try to hire for values, and sometimes we miss. And, we hire somebody who's maybe doesn't have the work ethic, maybe they're not honest, maybe you can't trust them as much. And so we have to make those changes because it's more of a flaw in their character that, like I said, I am a huge proponent for everybody can change. I do believe that, but, it can hurt our culture really bad if we take too long to kind of make those changes. And so we had to do that. And it actually helped our culture quite a bit by transitioning these few people out of the firm, because everybody knew they were falling short. And you see our team members looking at their Instagram, seeing what they're doing during our busy tax season, and they're like, wait, what's going on? And so by doing that, it actually amplified the culture. Okay, Erik made the right decision here. He let these people go, even though it was hard, and we have to replace them now and whatnot. It's like, oh, they did the right thing. And So they feel a little bit more validated in what they're doing. Happens for sure.
Well, I bring that up specifically because I've had a lot of these coaching conversations where people have let that fester too long, if you will, that toxic behavior. And many times they're very talented people. They're people that have skills. I've even had clients love these people, and there's still an impact within the team. Like there's very little collaboration. There's very little bit of trust. There's actually passive aggressiveness and all of this stuff. And it got to the point where it was finally time to exit that person. And I guess I'm just giving you a platform here. Is like and I heard you say it, and I'm just going to get you to add 2 or 3 more sentences with that. But when you do release that person, they get to go somewhere else where they're meant to be. The culture takes a lift up almost immediately. You feel it.
100%. And I'm glad you said that, because I want to clarify, because like these individuals are great people. Like it's funny because the 2 that we had to transition out, they were probably the most skilled. They knew the most about the tax code. They worked for huge accounting firms. They had a lot of talent. They just weren't a great fit for our culture, right? And so going to, a bigger firm or an in-office firm, they probably just, they would blow up. They would do amazing there. Just not a great fit for our firm. So that's a good point. Yeah.
All right. We're wrapping up today. Great cultures allow you to attract talent. Anything else that we've missed or you want to cover that you feel like is really helpful for our audience?
Yeah. I think some other things that we do, because we are remote, we do some in-person events. And so about 3 times a year, we will get together in person. We'll fly everybody to a certain location. We'll do some team building. We do some meetings and things like that. We do some fun stuff as well. We've gone to Cabo, to Cancun, Jamaica, Florida, things like that. We've done some fun stuff like that where we can get together and have fun. And I think that's huge too, because it shows, hey, we appreciate you. We appreciate everything that you're doing. And we want to create an experience together as a team to show that appreciation. And so, we've thought about, hey, do we just give them a really large bonus or something like that, rather than doing some of these, trips and things. But it just, like you said, I mean, money can do so much, but, spending that money on, this amazing team building experience, I mean, it goes a long way, and it adds dividends later on with relationships that are built and things like that. And so that's another big thing that
I'm just curious, and I'm not saying that this is what you have to do, but are you inviting spouses to those at all?
We do 1 time a year. We do.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's big too.
I bet that's really big, because all the hard work that you put in during tax season and even other filing deadlines, right? There's always a bunch of rush work that has to be done, that these spouses get to, benefit from that once a year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Erik, we've had a great conversation about a great culture and how it attracts talent. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your wisdom.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And yeah, I appreciate it. Anytime.
Wow, what another great interview here on the podcast. I love putting these things together for you. I really believe culture is a very powerful force inside the business, and you want to make sure that you build a strong foundation. If you have 10 employees, you should be focused on culture. If you have 50 employees and 100, it might be too late to change it as fast as you want, but it can definitely be changed. If you have any questions about leadership or culture inside your fast growth business, make sure you reach out to me. I'm Gene at genehammett.com, and happy to help you. And we've got some free tools and free guides. All you have to do is reach out and ask me about what's going on in your world. What are the big challenges in your way? I'm happy to engage. Maybe we'll even jump on a phone call and talk about it. I don't even have to sell you anything. You can just create the plan together, and then we can either decide you want support or not, but I'll give you the plan 100%. So all that is interesting. Make sure you reach out to me at genehammett.com. And when you think of growth and you think of leadership, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, with courage. We'll see you next time.